Hey, what is up, you sexy beast? GhostSickness, Tristan here, and I'm bringing you guys a commentary talking about why we broke up. This is not how we broke up. This is just why my girlfriend and I didn't really work out and why we broke up. Now, I don't want you guys to get the misconception that, oh my god, I'm in a horrible mood. Oh man, don't feel bad for me, guys. Don't feel like anything happened that was your fault or was my fault. I mean, it was my fault, but don't feel like anything that you guys did was bad or that I'm in like a sad mood or depressed now just because it didn't work out, right? Yes, I got a girlfriend, it didn't work out, and that's okay with me, right? It's perfectly fine, and I'm gonna kind of discuss why that happened today, and just tell you guys the story of what happened when we dated. Now, we broke up about a month ago, actually, guys, and we only lasted a week, right? And so I'm gonna say that right off the bat, but that week was pretty crazy, and we found out that we shouldn't have been dating, right? And so by no means when I make this video am I bashing on this girl, am I hating on this girl. Her and I are still best friends, and I still really enjoy being friends with her, and I'll kind of get into that a little bit later. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video to discuss what happened. This is like the 4-part mini-series, so there's, you know, the most amazing night, watch that one first. There's how I asked her out, and then now there's why we broke up, and then there's going to be how we broke up. Because those are two different stories, right? So this is just telling you what happened before we broke up, and then I'll tell you guys what happened and how we broke up and stuff like that and how different it was. But yeah, I don't want you to be like, oh my god, Tristan, I feel so sorry for you. Oh, you and your girlfriend didn't work out, you're gonna be forever alone. No, that's not how it's gonna be. But I just got into this relationship way too early and too spontaneously and stuff like that. So I'll link the other videos in the description below. You have to watch those first to get kind of the prerequisite, or at least watch the how I asked her out video. Both of them will be linked in the description. But yeah, to kind of understand my relationship with this girl. So I came home Saturday night, like I said, and I was really ecstatic. I made this spontaneous decision, and I was just super pumped to be dating her now. And then Sunday was the midnight release of Call of Duty, and so it was actually released at 9 p.m. on the West Coast, so it was a national midnight release, right? So everybody got it at the same time, so we got it at 9 p.m. So we go there, and I'm texting her a little bit, and then we're about to get the game, and then we get the game, and then we're heading home, and I'm like, hey, look, I gotta go, blah, blah, blah. And so she's just like, okay, well, whatever, you know, kind of pissed off at me that I, you know, put Call of Duty before her. But it's not really that I put Call of Duty before her, it's that, you know, she already knew this game was coming out, and that I just wanted to play this right now, and, you know, she probably had to go to sleep either way soon. And so I started playing Call of Duty, and she said something like, I don't know, just, you know, whatever. Wasn't very happy with me for picking Call of Duty over her, which, I mean, I can kind of understand. I'll get into that a little bit later. But so, and then I text back a little bit later because I had to update my PlayStation 4. I'm like, oh, never mind. I'll leave in a second, but, you know, what's up? How's it going? Stuff like that. So we're talking a little bit, and then, you know, I start playing Call of Duty midnight release, and then I start going and tell her goodnight or whatever. And so then I'm gone school the next day, so I don't see her on Monday at all. And then Tuesday, I saw her at school. I'm pretty sure we went to lunch, and then we hung out after school. Now, this after school thing was a little bit weird. It was definitely crazy. So what happened was I went to her house after school. We were going to have like a movie day because I'm really big into TV shows and Netflix and stuff like that, but she's really big into movies and stuff. So I go over to her house after school, and we start watching movies. We started with The Labyrinth, and then we later ended up watching Iron Man 3, like all of Iron Man 3. We didn't finish The Labyrinth, which is a classic like 1980s movie. So we're hanging out, watching the movie, cuddling on the couch or whatever. Just, you know, her little brother's there. Everybody's kind of there. Her sisters and her parents are obviously still there. So we're cuddling on the couch and everything. And then her dog walks in. And, you know, we didn't think anything of it. The dog walks in, you know, both of them do. And then one of them, the little small pug, jumps up onto the, you know, couch and everything where we are and just starts walking around and then gets down and stuff like that. And so she gets up to get water or something. I don't remember quite what she got up for. And she sees that the dog tracked in blood, right? That this dog, the little tiny pug, had paw prints of blood all the way around the hardwood floor of this house and stuff like that, and on some of the carpet. And so she noticed that, and so I kind of look at him like, oh shit. And so we all notice that, and then her stepdad comes down, and he notices as well. And so they start cleaning it up. I'm just kind of sitting there awkwardly, right? He's shouting. Everything's going crazy. So I'm just sitting there on the couch like, what the fuck do I do? I'm just going to try to watch this movie, be on my phone or whatever, nothing too crazy. And they're just cleaning up, you know, the blood from this little pug that tracked around on the hardwood floor and on the carpet a little bit. And everybody's kind of freaking out. I'm just like sitting there, oh my God, what do I do? This is the first time, you know, I've been to her house while we've been dating, right? Because this is Tuesday, you know, basically 2 days after or 3 days after we started dating. So I'm just sitting there awkwardly on the couch on my phone watching The Labyrinth. And, you know, they're cleaning that up and everything. And so a little bit later after that, you know, after things calmed down a little bit, her stepdad or just to go get like food, right? So we go in my car and we pick up stuff for dinner, and then come back, and then we kind of have dinner. And it was really awkward, right? Like her parents are very different and very strict and stuff like that. So I basically kept my mouth shut the entire fucking time. Like I was just completely awkward. I did not know what to say because I didn't want to mess anything up, right? I didn't want to say anything that they would like perceive the wrong way. It was really weird, guys. I don't know if you understand what I'm talking about, but basically like her parents would flip out at the littlest of things, right? So I was just sitting there at the dinner table like, oh man, if I say this, it might rub them the wrong way. So I just kind of, kept to myself, and they were teasing her and giving her shit a little bit because they knew we were dating and stuff like that. I'm just sitting there like, oh, yeah, it's whatever, blah, 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 being really quiet. And, I'm not typically a quiet guy, right? So this was definitely strange for me because I had to, I felt as though I needed to keep my mouth shut to keep everything good. So that was really awkward. That wasn't really why we broke up. It's just something that happened. It wasn't her fault, obviously. It wasn't her fault that the dog tracked in blood, because the dog had gotten in a fight, right? It was a little pug, and she had been cut like on one of her toes or something, and so it bled through her entire paw, and so she'd walk around with that, and it got blood everywhere, and so she had to clean that up. It was absolutely hectic. They were shouting and screaming, and I'm just sitting there like, oh my fucking god, what do I do? I'm just gonna sit silently on my phone and watch this movie. And then we watched Iron Man 3. That was a little bit better. Good movie, stuff like that. And then they asked me if I wanted to watch Disney movie. I totally forget what it's called, something with an M. It just came out, but I was like, no thank you, I gotta fucking go. It was like 9:30. I got there like 4, stayed till like 4 till 9:30. Anyway, because we didn't have school the next day, right? So the next day we had a day off from school because I think it was like end of the quarter or something. So we stayed home, and we ended up seeing a movie a little bit later that day. It was in the No Good, Horrible, Very Bad Day, which is basically where they follow a family and they're like, and just experience like this really terrible day. It's a really funny movie, actually, so I had a great time watching that with her. But we watched that, we're in the movie theater, we're cuddling, holding hands, whatever you want to call it, right? Which we did at our house the day before. And then I took her home, and I actually did kiss her the night before. I kissed her on Tuesday night, the night we watched the movies and everything like that, and then also kissed her Wednesday when I brought her home from the movies. Nothing too crazy happened. Now, it just got worse and worse as the week progressed, right? Like, I don't really know what happened. Like I said, the Monday wasn't bad because I didn't see her or anything like that, and then Tuesday was just pretty crazy because of her parents. Obviously not her fault, and I told her that. But then we get to Wednesday, and we see the movie, and then I, take her home, and then kiss her, whatever. And then, we didn't even make out or anything. I just kissed her, and then, she went inside. So then it comes to Thursday, which Thursday wasn't bad. I don't even remember if we went to lunch or anything like that. Like I said, this was last month, but we might have hung out. And she was kind of not mad at me, but kind of like meh about, there's 5 days a week for school, right? And one of the days is a bro day where I go with my friend, who's a guy who also has who also has a girlfriend. Sorry, not a boyfriend. Who also has a girlfriend, and so I would get my time with him, right? So I could spend at least 1 day a week with him, so he's not always with his girlfriend or not always, away from me and stuff like that. So we have something called bro day, right? So that was like every Friday. And then I wanted something where I hung out with another friend of mine. And so there was 2 days a week with my guy friends and 3 days a week with her. And she wasn't too happy with that. I'm like, what do you mean? You're still the fucking majority. Like, I'm hanging with you 60% of the time, at lunch and stuff like that. Cause I'm not going to be whipped. I'm not going to be anything like that. And she wasn't trying to do anything like that. She was just kind of a little bit like, oh, okay, whatever, blah, blah, blah. 2 days a week with guys, 3 days a week with me. Didn't really found it as too fair. I found it perfectly fair because she was still in the majority. I don't really know. That's just something I figured I'd mention. So Thursday, nothing really crazy happened. Friday's really where the breaking point happened. Thursday, we just kind of, I don't know, saw each other at school. It wasn't anything too crazy. Texted after school. I don't really remember. But then it comes to Friday. Now, Friday was the day Friday day and Friday night was the day that I decided to do it, right? Day that I decided that, oh my god, this is not working out. This is just not what I wanted. Because if you guys have saw the other videos, and I really hope you have by now, we went from being best friends to being, dating right away. Like, it was a really random and spontaneous thing. We hadn't talked about it, anything like that. And, I'd thought about it a lot, but I hadn't talked about it with her, right? It was just kind of like an, oh my god, hey, do you want to go out with me? She's like, yeah, fuck yeah. So, like I said, when we kissed and stuff like that and we held hands, not that it was awkward, but it wasn't super like, oh my god, sparks were flying and everything was amazing, right? It was just kind of like, okay, well, we kissed and held hands or whatever. It wasn't too crazy. It wasn't like, I felt like I had to do it instead of that I wanted to do it, right? And I'll get into that a little bit when it comes to Friday, right? So Friday, was November the 7th, and we'd been dating 6 days at this point. And so we just talked at school a little bit. 7th period, which is the last period of the day, which is basically the last class of the day. She was like, hey, do you want to take me to the football game tonight? And I'm like, no, not really. And so basically I left on that note. I think I gave her a hug, and then I went home. And so, you know, I'm getting ready for the game, because the football games were basically times to just have a blast, like you guys have saw on The Most Amazing Night, and just have fun, just goof around, not really care, and just spend time with the guys, right? So I go out on Friday night and go to the football game. Now, I did not expect her to be going there. I asked her if she was going to be going, and she said she, you know, wasn't sure or whatever. Then I ended up seeing her there. So like I said, I didn't expect to see her there. So it was a little bit weird, right? Caught me off guard, because usually some of the games she'd be at, but the other ones she wouldn't. And so I would have fun either way. Sometimes we'd hang out. Sometimes I'd hang out with the guys. Sometimes a little bit of both. But I get there, and I'm walking, trying to meet up with my friends, trying to find them. They're not there yet. And so I see her there. I'm like, oh, hey, how's it going? You know, you're my girlfriend, obviously. So I go over there, and I'm talking to her. I'm hanging out with her. Everything's good. But I'm just kind of like, oh, shit, you're here. That means you'll probably want to hang out the entire night. I know this sounds so bad, but I'll get into it in a second. But I was just like, okay, well, you know, tonight I'm really going to spend a lot of time with the guys. I'm sorry. I really didn't expect her to be there. And it got into a little bit of a gray area for sure. Anyway, we're hanging out, and then my friend gets there, and so I go talk to him. I basically just leave her and go talk to him, and meet up with her periodically through the night, stuff like that. Nothing too interesting, nothing too crazy. I saw her a few times, but I didn't want to be around her the whole night. Like, I know this sounds so weird, but I just like, look, I just want to spend time with the guys right now. I really don't want to have to do anything like this. I don't want to be cute right now. I don't want to hold hands, nothing. I'm not too interested in that right now. So we do that, and I see her around, like I said, and then I'm like, hey, my friend Sam should be here soon. And she says, Sam who? Like, she freaks out. Doesn't really freak out, but just emphasizes Sam who, huh? You know, stuff like that. And that really threw me off guard. That was one of the main things. I'm like, oh my God, what do you mean? Yeah, it's Sam. He's a guy, and one of my coworkers. Yeah, you know who you are, Sam. But, so she said that to me, and I'm just kind of like, what the actual fuck? And my friend heard it, and I'm just like, okay, well, yeah, I'm going to be hanging out with a guy tonight, and I hope you understand that. I hope that's okay, because obviously I'm not going to let her, you know, control who I hang out with and stuff like that. Obviously, I'm not going to be hanging out with, like, my exes and being like, hey, girl, come over here. How's it going? You know, stuff like that. I'm not going to cheat on her. But this was, you know, my friend Sam, who's a guy, and so I figured, you know, she'd trust me and not be like, oh my God, Sam who? What, the girl? Huh? And so I'm just like, okay. Anyway, so he gets there, and we're kind of hanging out, right? I'm hanging out with the guys, and then she kind of, you know, comes in and out of the conversation, and like I said, I didn't really want to, you know, be around her the entire night, because I didn't expect her to be there to begin with. Like, I got there, and I was super excited just hanging out with the guys. Not that I didn't want to see her, but I just really wasn't expecting it, right? So I saw her there, just kind of like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And normally you think I'd want to be holding hands with her all the time and be hugging her all the time and have her around all the time, right? But that just wasn't the case. It just wasn't quite working out. It was just super awkward, and it was just really weird, right? Because it was too much of a change too fast, right? We went from being best friends to overnight being dating, and all the stuff that implies with dating, you know, holding hands, kissing, being cute, being romantic, being all this other stuff. And not that that's a bad thing, it's just it was too much of a change too fast. And then I realized that I just wanted to be best friends with her, right? That's all I wanted. You know, there's no extra thinking, there's no anything complicated. It's just being friends and having fun, right? So I was talking to my friends that night, and every time I'd be on my phone, it was so weird, man. I don't understand it. Every time I'd be on my phone, she'd be looking over my shoulder like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, checking my phone and stuff like that. I obviously wouldn't give her my phone to, you know, look through, but, you know, she'd be looking over my shoulder every single time I'd and she was really short, right? So she would, like, just look at my phone every single time I was on it. Like, what do you expect to find? I'm not going to be texting other girls that I'm interested in or stuff like that. But seriously, it was really, really weird. That was one of the things. And then the always wanting to be around, and basically, you know, when we would hold hands and kiss and stuff, it was just too, I don't know, it was too different, too fast, too crazy. And I talked to her about this yesterday, and by no means am I bashing this girl. I'm just saying what happened and kind of my perception of it. But yeah, no, I really enjoy being friends with this girl, and it was so fucking weird, man. It was just too much of a change too fast. And we talked about it, and she totally agreed with me that we went from, you know, having no commitment to having all this commitment. It was insane, absolutely crazy. So we're talking that night, and I end up leaving, right? I didn't say goodbye to her, I guess. I don't really know. I swear I did, but I guess I didn't. So we leave, and my friends and I go to Taco Bell. So we meet up at Taco Bell, and I get a text from her that says, bye, and, you know, a question mark, and I'm just like, what the fuck? I'm pretty sure I said goodbye to you, so I tried telling her that, and obviously she wasn't having any of it because she was convinced that I didn't say goodbye to her. So to this day, I don't know. Maybe I didn't say goodbye to her. I don't really know. I still don't remember, but, and so I'm just like, okay, and, oh, by the way, when we'd be texting, right, every few hours, you know, we'd be texting for a little bit, and let's say I don't reply for half an hour, or like 2 hours or something like that, she'd be like, hi, or like, hello, something like that, and I'm just like, look, I'm sorry, I was busy, right? I was, you know, making videos, or I was doing homework, or playing Call of Duty, or all three, and so I couldn't reply, but I'll get into that in the next video where I talk about why, or how we broke up, not why we broke up, but this is why we broke up. So it was basically a combination of everything, right? So it was, you know, being a little bit clingy, being a little bit overprotective with stuff like that, you know, checking my phone, Sam who, and always wanting to make sure that I was good and faithful, which obviously I am, right? I'm not going to cheat on a girl. That's just not going to happen. But, so I'm just like, okay, that's a thing. And, you know, I wouldn't text back for a little while. She'd get kind of angry at me. And it was just, there was no spark anymore. It was just so weird and so different. I wasn't feeling like we should be dating at this point. I was just like, okay, well, yeah, we're dating, but I don't really think that it's working out. I mean, it's weird to, you know, kiss. It's not really that special to hold hands. It was just, I don't know. It was weird and different, and it was too different, and I wasn't feeling like we should be dating at this point, right? So, you know, Friday night, I hung out with my friend Pfeiffer, and we basically talked it out, and I told him that, you know, yeah, I like this girl emotionally, but I thought of a lot of other girls. Now, obviously, I wasn't going to cheat on this girl, but I did think of a lot of other girls that I was, you know, sexually attracted to and stuff like that, and more so than my girlfriend. So I'm like, well, you know, yeah, no, it's not really working out. I should really break up with her because it's not. And I talked to him about this. He's like, yeah, bro, that's really bad. I don't think you should be in a relationship with her if you're thinking about all this stuff and if you're acting this way and stuff like that. Because I told him that, I'm like, look, I don't really think, I didn't really want her there that night. I was like, oh my God, I just enjoyed spending time with the guys, and I didn't really want to hang out with her and, you know, have her around that whole night. But yeah, that's basically what happened. We hung out a little bit, held hands a little bit, hugged, but other than that, it was just kind of awkward. I didn't want to be around her the whole night. I would just kind of shift mostly from her to my friends, and I spent the majority of time with my friends. But yeah, it was really weird, and she was pissed off at me on Friday night for not saying goodbye, and I didn't text back or whatever. So I'm like, okay, you know, she didn't text back because she was just pissed off at me. Talked to Pfeiffer about it, and then, you know, basically Friday night, Saturday morning, I made up my decision to basically end it off, or end it with her, and that's where we stand, guys. That's where I decided to do, and that's what I'm going to leave you guys for part 4. So I don't want you to feel bad for me, and girl, if you're watching this, or if your friends are watching this or whatever, I don't hate you. This is just what happened, and yeah, we both know it. It was whatever. I'm not angry with you. I'm so glad we're friends and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to end this commentary here. I hope you guys are ready for part 4. It's going to be a pretty interesting episode. Yeah, I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.